You're listening to the Screaming Pods Network.
This plays like an Andy Warhol action movie. Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's go watch Liquid Sky.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. This is an 80s podcast. Nay, not a podcast taking place in the 80s because they didn't exist then. Rather, it is a podcast about movies from the 80s. I am here, as always, part of your host. I am Jamie Lorello. The other part, two, is D.P. McCambridge.
I don't even know what to say, but thanks for introducing me as part two.
Yeah.
I like it. This could have been a movie broken up into, you know what? I broke this movie up into part one and part two.
Oh yeah, you didn't watch it in one
With
sitting.
a good 2 days in between.
Ooh, how was the go back and the mid movie go back too?
It wasn't great, but I knew when he was taking a nap during a party, I went, you know what? This is a good time to shut this off.
And that's when you were like, all right. If we're resting, we could all rest. Yeah.
Because I could not stop at a point where we were in her apartment because 90% of this movie was there and I wouldn't have known when I turned it off. So it was a good marker. Like it was perfect in that sense.
And did you find it on YouTube? It was hard for me to find. I don't know how it was for you to find. But,
Jamie, I have a confession to make. So at one point... a long time ago, you had brought this movie up as just like hey, it seems super crazy. Maybe we could do this at some point.
Yeah.
So I bought it. I bought it thinking, you know what, we'll probably get to this sometime. And it sat on my shelf. It sat on my shelf for like a year. And it's out of its shrink wrap. It has been played. Yeah. Its market value has depreciated considerably. So selling it, I'm not saying that I'm going to try and sell this.
You shouldn't.
I just don't think I'm going to get the return on it. So if anybody listening wants an exclusive Blu-ray of Liquid Sky, hit me up on Twitter. We'll talk.
I mean, so it's not something you're going to keep in your collection for the kooky sake, for the cult classic sake, for the... I might be spoiling my final opinion of this, but I don't know if I can spoil it because my opinion is all over the place. This is a movie that when it was over, I thought maybe I should watch this again at some point. Yeah.
But I don't know if I could. Like, I don't know.
I agree completely. Not to get too far ahead, but part of my recommendation is at the end, we recommend our movies. I don't know if my recommendation would be to watch this again because I felt the same kind of confliction. I was like, I don't know if I really, really hated this movie and just was not offended by it, but kind of offended by it. Or if I really, really dig it and it was just a lot thrown at me all at once to really, because even in the beginning, and listen, I'm not a fan of that, the synthy, the music. I'm not going to be able to get through this whole thing if this is the consistent soundtrack because it was a lot to take in for me.
That soundtrack is insane because it's synth mixed with like circus music.
Well, but then
it was very strange. And
then what's her name's performance art? The one girl they're all kind of.
Oh, I sent you a picture of her performing. And I was laughing and thinking, this is ridiculous. And by the end of the movie, I think that might have been my favorite part.
Favorite, yeah.
Oh my God. So, so folks,
right.
This is our 420 episode. I can't think. I was about to say I can't think of a better movie to choose for 420. But you know, if you, I don't even know if recreational use of any sort of drug would help the viewing of this movie.
I wondered that too. I thought, if I was under the influence of, especially some of that weird, like, what is like I don't know what you call the effect that they do when like the aliens taking over the brain, and like, what is that?
It reminded me of like when I discovered Microsoft Paint when I was 10 years old. I was like, oh, you just make gross, goofy things, because it is this weird digital graphic of intense colors just kind of melding together.
Yeah.
And you see it 45 times in this movie.
Over and over. It happens a lot. And I thought, maybe if I was on something, I'd be like, whoa, that's like his brain. But
I think you'd...
But still...
you'd have to choose the substance very carefully, because someone on Twitter told me, they said, oh, so I should probably have a few beers before I watch this. And my advice is, no, you'll probably fall asleep. Like... You'll be out. Like, do not drink. Like, I'm not saying do cocaine, but it's brought up many times in this movie. And I'm thinking you might need something to keep you up and keep you with it and keep you into it. At one point in this movie, somebody goes, calm down. I have some cocaine. And I went, that's the opposite effect. Relax. Do some cocaine. That'll help you just mellow out a bit.
What is the pills that he shoves down her throat?
Quaaludes.
Because I'm trying to think they were Quaaludes. Okay. Yeah.
In order to rape her? How many times does this main character get raped in this movie? I counted 3.
That's 1.
In a day.
4.
Oh, 4. Okay.
I think there's 4. Maybe. No, maybe you're a 3. 3 in a day. Because do you count the girl? Because isn't the girl raper too?
Yeah, I counted the girl.
Or her girlfriend?
Yeah. It's the Quaalude guy, it's her girlfriend, and then it's the heroin guy who takes naps at parties.
So that's 4, right?
Oh,
wait, sorry. What about the old man? The older man?
Does he rape her? I thought she was kind of down with that.
Oh, I guess they rape him.
They rape him? Oh, after he's dead?
Yes.
This is the movie we watched. If you didn't watch this movie and you're listening to this, I understand how this must sound.
I know. Well, exactly. All right. Well, is there any way to walk through it? I mean, can you?
I feel like the best thing to do is to just simply establish the plot lines that are taking place.
Okay.
That'll sort of get us into who these characters are to start. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. Because I don't know that going through this beat by beat would make any sense.
No, but there's certainly some beats that we should make sure that we beat.
Well, sure. No, I understand that 100%. Okay, so first we have to establish that there is a male character named Jimmy.
Yep.
I think.
Yes.
And a female character named Margaret, played by the same person.
And at first I was like, they look very, very similar. It took me, I did think it was the same actress, but in the beginning I was like, who is this? What's happening with this one? What's going on?
Because if you're going to do this, if you're going to do that tired cliche in sitcoms where you have a double or a twin, or in here you're sort of gender bending with the twin thing.
Yeah.
You do it like this movie, which is this movie starts with these two characters in a room basically talking to each other for a whole scene. And I'm like, they're not the same person.
Yes.
Well, and it wasn't until later
similar,
when I was like,
but
later on I was like, okay, this is kind of goofy now. But at first, I really wasn't sure if they were the same person.
Either way, the line delivery is throughout the whole movie. I want
bizarre. To say, I think that the girlfriend with the big teeth girlfriend, I thought she was okay. And that might have been
You were okay with her.
I was, yeah. She seemed
okay.
She seemed professional. Her line delivery seemed reasonable.
Right. At times she was odd, but she was an odd girl. And didn't she like recite beat poetry and that kind of thing and tap her leg? What was that thing where she was
she was smacking her leg, but it never showed her hitting her leg, so it just showed her kind of bobbing a little bit as you heard a smack. Like a really loud snap of
Not like a slap. It wasn't a slap. It was a definite like.
It was like a hand hitting pants. Like that's what it was.
She was, and that's what she was doing. Yeah.
So we have these two characters, Margaret and Jimmy, who are fashion models.
Yeah. And they all, yes.
Wow, I was going to say, if we can't agree on that, we can't agree on anything.
No, they're fashion models, and they live in New York City, and they there's a club that they like to hang out at, right?
Yep.
And maybe sometimes they perform there. Well, maybe that's just part of being at that club. I
don't know. I don't know what that was, because they would say we're going on, but then it was just dance. Yeah. Like everybody was participating in this dance, so I didn't know what they were going on for. But they're fashion models, and I guess they're kind of antagonists. I mean, we don't really see that much until later.
I would say so, but yes.
So that's one thing that's happening in this movie. Mm-hmm. And if any one of these things was alone the plot of this movie, I still think you probably could have made a feature film out of it. I don't know that you need all of this stuff happening at the same time.
It's a lot.
There are also aliens.
Not that we see the aliens. We see their spaceship, their pool filter spaceship that the guy even says at one point, the scientist guy is like, it's aliens. I don't know why people think aliens are big. It's the size of a paper plate. Or right? Or doesn't he say something like that?
It really is. It's like big. He refers to it as a dinner plate. And I went, oh yeah, that is what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, their flying saucer seems to be slightly larger than a dinner plate.
Uh-huh.
And it lands on the roof of Margaret's apartment building.
That's right.
And these aliens, as we find out later, because the scientist, and I could talk about the scientist and Jimmy's mom all day long.
That was Jimmy's mom, right?
Yes.
Okay, that was. I was like, I think that's, yeah. But then how come he didn't? Okay, it was Jimmy's mom.
The scientist, and we'll get into him later, he explains that these aliens are looking for heroin. So that's why they came to Earth. Mm-hmm. But when they got to Earth, they found out that human orgasms are more potent than heroin.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone has an orgasm, the aliens kill that person.
They take that part of their brain that's happening.
Yeah, like the person disintegrates into the only reasonably great effect in this movie. They don't
always disintegrate, right?
Well, sometimes it takes a day and a half, and other times it takes 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. But that was once she requested. Margaret had to go out there and request that if she's going to be this cunt killer or this...
that is how she refers to herself, I think.
Right? She says, I kill with my cunt.
Right.
Yeah, she I think, demands that if they're going to use her as the vessel to get their
whatever,
whatever
something in the brain
that they need.
Sex juice. Yeah, that's good.
Then those are scientific terms. Then they at least need to make the bodies disappear. So then they do, the aliens, right?
Wow.
Doesn't she request it?
I don't remember that.
She goes out to the rooftop.
I'm sure this happened. I just don't remember it.
Oh,
sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, because you're right. That first guy, he's around for a long time. Long enough for that girl to recite beat poetry and put like a glow bracelet over his head.
Oh, yeah. What was that thing over it?
This movie is lit by neon and exit signs. There's red all over this movie, and it's irritating most of the time. Also in this movie, there's some guy named Paul. He's a junkie. And
he can't get it together.
Right. He has a girlfriend who just wants him to be clean, and she seems to be a reasonable, upstanding citizen who can host parties and has friends.
Yeah.
That's not a big plot in this movie. I didn't know why it was in this.
I think just to show you the prevalence of how severe the heroin problem really was, maybe. And maybe the aliens, maybe these were all the different characters the aliens were scoping out.
Yeah, but everything
knew Margaret was the one.
Yeah, well, Margaret was certainly the one who brought everyone to her apartment that was then, of course.
But really, it was because the other girl, whose name I can't remember, she's the one that had a lot of the drugs.
Her name was Adrian.
Adrian
was her roommate / lover.
Lover, yeah. But Adrian also had all the drugs. Like, people were going to Adrian for drugs, and then Margaret happened to be living there, too.
I love how people would look for the drugs. And she put it in the most conspicuous place possible, which was behind the face mask inside concentric circles of neon hanging right in the wall over the bed. So the last plot line is there appears to be some tall, gangly German man.
Oh yes,
in like a red leather members only jacket, and he seems to know of these aliens and might be an alien himself.
I didn't think he was an alien himself.
Oh,
you did?
Jimmy's mom once referred to him as the German alien scientist, but I guess she meant alien scientist.
Yeah, I don't think there was a comma.
Right. So you're German, you're an alien and a scientist? No. So this guy is there to, I guess, warn people about these aliens or study them. I don't...
Both.
Okay.
I think both.
All right.
Mm-hmm. I think he's studying them. And I think once he realizes what they're doing, and he's so calm about it, too. I've got to go warn them. Mm-hmm. They must know. He's not the least bit erratic. Even he's holding Jimmy's mom in his lap, right? Right before he leaves.
There's no urgency. When he meets Adrian in that liquor store, and he's like,
yeah.
You have to listen to me. First, now he's Russian. And he's talking to her about how there's aliens there, and she's like, what do you think, pig? I know you, narc. And then she walks away, and he's like, well, that didn't work. I guess I'm going to go back up and hang out with Jimmy's mom some more. There's no urgency. He knows the aliens are here murdering people, and he just looks at them through a telescope.
To the telescope, he's like, it's happening again.
So these are the things that are happening in this movie, and as you said, the backdrop is New York City. Most of this movie takes place at night. Yeah. And the fashion is insane. Like the makeup and the fashion, and as you stated earlier, the music is all irritating and aggressive, and
it's very aggressive.
It was a movie that made me squirm, like made me uncomfortable to watch.
Well, and I think that was kind of the point. They also, so besides all of what you just described, they also, listen, I am no stranger to foul mouth. But there is a lot of the word cunt thrown around this movie. There's a lot of they beat her. And again, I don't have a problem with sexual content. It's just all coming to you at once in this jarring sort of a way. So, like I said,
it's really like you said, rough. To start. Like I said, she gets raped.
It's aggressive.
3 to 4 times in this movie in a 24-hour period.
But even that, she's sort of blasé about it all. It's just
she gets what it slapped around all the time in this movie, and if people out there listening to this enjoy this movie, in a way, I understand it. Yeah, because this movie's trying to say something, but I'm not sure what.
I think it does. She has a lot of these little, like, it's almost like these little poetic monologues that she goes off on whenever someone is alone with her. That's why I think if she was a person that really exists in real life, you'd be like, I would personally feel like, oh God, I don't want to be alone with Margaret because she starts going off on her stuff and she gets so heavy sometimes and you just want to keep it light and get your drugs. But Margaret's over there like, men and women and sex. Who cares what sex I am? I'm sexy. That's all I
believe
care
that
about.
Now you're doing the voice of Jimmy. That's not Margaret's voice that you're doing.
Sorry. Right. Although Jimmy's a little more strung out because he really is at one point when he's at dinner. Is it when he's at dinner with his mom and he's just like looking, he's just scowling at her.
The facial expressions, the fact that none of these characters emote. When Paul is raping her and she's just like, I'm so bored right now. I'm so bored. You're boring me to death. And he's like, I'm raping you. Like, I'm raping you. You're so boring. It's like, what am I watching? What is
she's
this?
Kind of numb to it. That's why when she's given the power that she's given, she's like a new person.
I wrote down that he also calls her a stupid horse when he's beating her.
It's disturbingly
This
long.
movie is over 2 hours long.
I know. When I turned it on, like I have a crank for my TV or something.
Mm-hmm. You have to sit on a little like stationary bike to watch TV.
It's like just this screen thing that goes by, like that old Fisher-Price toy, that played the one song and then the same scene went by.
Oh, did you notice that anytime they were outside during the day, all of the shots of the cityscape and everything are clearly New York. And if they're inside a building out the window, you can see New York. But when you see the scientist, all the building names, which are quote unquote New York, everything's in German.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
So they were not shooting in New York.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, whatever hotel. He gets out and there's a hotel and it's like it was like D-E and then there's an umlaut. And it's half cut off, but it wasn't convincing, right?
Who's the guy the scientist meets with?
I love that guy. Because at one point that guy goes, I am just a college theater professor. Yeah. And my thought was, I don't think that's the character talking. I think that's the actor. That's the actor pleading with the director going, I am only a college theater instructor. Why am I in your movie?
What are you needing me to do here? Well, why is he there? So the scientist thinks he has some kind of... Because that's a scene... That's when we're going between Jimmy having lunch with his mom. Yeah, you never see him again. You don't know what...
Well...
He's just the guy that the scientist goes to tell what's going on to.
No, he's kind of like he's the guy who has sex with Margaret and then dies, and they're doing beat poetry.
But why does he know the scientist?
Oh, Jamie, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh,
he knows Margaret because she was a student of his, I guess. Oh. But yeah,
we don't know why
No, just at one point the scientist goes, "You're the only one in New York that I know," and that was my thought. How does he know this random theater professor?
Exactly, who now gets it on with Margaret.
Yeah, I wrote, "I'm just a college acting instructor, not in the script." All right, so. I don't even know. How do we even talk about this movie?
Well,
That's what I thought. I just figured this would either be our shortest episode ever or our longest because we wouldn't be able to stop talking about it. So, you're right. This German comes to New York.
Yeah.
He's studying these aliens. He meets up with the college theater professor who is also sleeping with Margaret, a former student. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get anywhere with this guy, but we meet the person who he does form a connection with.
Oh, yeah.
Who is Jimmy's mom. And Jimmy is, again, the same actress as playing Margaret, right, dressed as a man and talking in a deeper
as a very strung out
man voice. Yes.
Yeah. 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 When he's at lunch with his mom, he just wants to get money for more drugs, basically.
Yeah.
And
he's dressed like David Byrne. Like he has these big suits on that don't really seem to fit.
In the meantime, too, we find out more about the connection between Adrian and Margaret. How we learn about their background a little bit, right? I guess Margaret is from Connecticut. We know that, and she's a WASP from Connecticut. Mm-hmm. I think Adrian is from. I don't remember where.
Oh, I don't know.
But
at one point it's like, I'm from Texas. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm from Montana.
Oh, yes,
I'm from Philadelphia. like, who are these characters? I don't care where anybody's from.
When is that when they're at the...
That's near the end when they're all in her apartment.
Oh, when they're all in the apartment, yeah.
/ interview.
That's kind of crazy. When did that... What the hell? And when they're all cheering her on?
That really is the moment where I went, okay, I'm kind of on board now. Like, this movie's been slogging along, but suddenly 20 people are in her apartment for this photo shoot. Everyone's doing drugs. There's all sorts of crazy crap happening. And then she's putting on makeup and a black light, doing that crazy monologue. Yeah. If that had been the movie, the one thing I will say about this is if this had been 20 minutes, I would have been all in. I would have recommended it to everyone I know. But it's the fact that the same scenes, the same dialogue appears to happen over and over and over again in this movie. It was really rough to get through.
Well, it's not always the exact same scenes. It's just always there's, like you said, there's several. It's like she's getting raped again. Right. Oh boy,
People are asking for drugs again.
But they're always unique, and then okay, she's gonna kind of go off again about the culture or the people or but I mean, it definitely wasn't the same.
No. I understand what you're saying, and I agree. It just felt
a little monotonous to you.
Oh, definitely. It felt like we were in the same location. They're always dressed crazily with insane makeup. There's synthy nonsense happening. And I just felt like we jumped from her apartment, Paul's doing drugs, over to this weird German, back to her apartment. And it was this weird carousel until near the end when everything kind of came together.
When we were all just in the apartment,
Right.
Did you like the amount of foil that's used in the one scene?
When the teacher is covered and laying on that bed or table? Yeah. When they have a knife fight? She and her roommate have a knife fight? An impromptu knife fight on top of a dead man?
Yep. And I'm assuming he's naked, right? Because didn't he die while they were making love?
Yeah, we should say when these people die, a giant long crystal appears to be shoved into their head. Yes. That is how they die, or that's...
Well, only when she sees them. Otherwise, they just disappear. In the beginning, the first couple, you see the crystal. But then after that, they just kind of disappear right after she's...
Yeah, they turn into liquid metal, like in Terminator 2. They just kind of like blob away.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a really good effect in a movie that I did not expect to have that effect.
Kind of, yeah.
I saw that dinner plate flying saucer, and I did not think...
Yeah, I know. I saw it landing, too, because it lands in the very beginning, and I was like, oh, boy. With that synthy music, I was like, this is going to be a rough one. Did Jimmy's mom say she too liked to research UFOs? I feel like when she had her little date time with...
Well, I feel like she was trying to hit on him. Like, she'll say anything at that point.
After her lunch with Jimmy, he's going into her apartment, right? Or looking for something in her apartment building. And that's
You're
how
talking
they
about the German.
Yes, the German scientist. That's how they sort of strike it up. And then because he wants to get a view of the alien spaceship, which she has a great view of from her apartment.
She apparently lives right across the street from Margaret, I guess.
Yes. And do you like how much shrimp she orders? Was that something? Is shrimp something that people order when they talk about UFOs, or something
I don't know.
Order when
she
they
was
do heroin?
So into that Chinese food, and that Chinese food was a character in this movie. Like their entire evening revolved around. Well, I just ordered Chinese food. Are you going to stick around for Chinese food? And the guy shows up. The delivery guy shows up. They have a lengthy conversation.
Yeah, he knows her well.
And then they eat Chinese food by candlelight.
Chinese food is its own character. We forgot to introduce it. Those two, there's a lot of sex that happens in this movie, but those two never have it.
No, they don't. I like to think that they got together at the end of this. That they realized, like, if this movie's about one thing, it's about the fact that these two soulmates met each other under the most unlikely of circumstances.
You think that's it? That's the meaning of the movie?
I wanted Would have been great if the last scene was just them getting married and then the movie just ended. I would have really enjoyed that, although he was dead at that point. So, because she stabbed him with a knife that we didn't see her pick up earlier. Anyway, we'll get there. No, I did. Maybe this movie is just about, oh man. I was going to say just the superficiality. Is that a word? Sure.
Yeah, you said it correctly.
Is it an indictment of the fashion industry? Is it an indictment of 80s youth culture? Like, I'm not sure what this movie's trying to say, because the German alien scientist and Jimmy's mom, who seems very put upon, Jimmy needs money, like, they have the most human connection in this movie out of any of the characters.
That's an interesting take on it, yeah. Because you're right, they do.
Yeah.
But you're right, but I just look at it that way.
I again don't know what this movie's trying to condemn or what this movie's trying to say about anything.
About anything, really.
About anything.
Right?
Exactly.
About anything.
It's saying a lot. It's saying over 2 hours worth of material.
And it's really kind of, it's like thumping it on your leg as it beats out the poetry rhythm.
As it says, you're in hell. You're in hell.
Yeah.
You're going to hell. You're going to hell. Hey, you don't
right.
have to do that. He was a cool teacher. He's in hell. He's going to hell.
There was a whole rhyme. Wait, did I write it? Did I write it down? Go to hell. Go to hell, yeah.
That is it.
I wrote that she was, because in the beginning, she's a beatbox. Is she beatboxing in the beginning? Oh, and this is when she then...
she's wearing like a soundboard, like an entire big... Like if you've ever seen one of those outlet boxes that has like 47 outlets
she's
in
a
it.
Rhythm box. She makes herself a rhythm box. That's
yes,
right.
and it's strapped to her hip.
Yes.
And she's just talking. Just talking.
It's performance art is what it is. And I think that's what this whole thing is. Obvious.
I did write down, when she's getting raped by that guy and she's saying, I'm falling asleep. Before that, she goes, you're nothing. You're nobody. You're nothing. You're nothing. It's like, what? Why are you just repeating yourself? And they do that many times in this, as though they didn't stick the line, so they just say it again.
Oh, and then there's another... Yeah.
People just repeat lines.
They just echo. It just echoes the same word over and over.
Oof. This movie was challenging. I literally did write in my notes, I'm glad to see Jimmy's mom and this foreign guy having a nice dinner.
You wrote that in your notes?
Yes.
I'm glad to see this.
There were stretches in this movie where I did not write anything in my notes for long periods of time.
Because you were just sort of confused looking at the screen, like what's happening?
Sadly, this movie was one where I literally watched the second half earlier today. Mm-hmm. It all has pretty much fallen away. We've watched some bad movies we've watched bad movies 2 years ago that I can remember every beat of that terrible movie. And this was immediately, like, when it came into my eyeballs, it was like flushed out.
But do you think because it was all too much? Do you think it was too much all happening at once that you just couldn't even absorb any of it? So it just sort of...
I feel like if I went to like a midnight showing of this movie on a big screen in a darkened room, I feel like it would have more of an impact than it did on my TV screen. All right. Like, I feel like that would just be sensory overload. Could you imagine hearing that poem / performance art? With speakers all around you.
Yeah. And again, think of it on the specific drug.
Sure.
And having,
Yes. Yeah, if you dropped acid and watched this, I assume it would be like a life-changing experience. But not me sitting in my basement going, what? Why am I frantically trying to type notes?
Yeah, not me curled up with my dog and a cup of tea. I was like, what is this? I'm so uncomfortable. Why are they sitting on his face? He's dead. But,
And are they cooking chicken at the end of this movie? Are they planning on roasting chicken?
And then what's the chicken joke against her? Don't they call her chicken? What do they call her?
Everyone calls each other chicken for 20 minutes in this movie. And then they're like, he's the original Miss America. No, she's Miss America. They're both Miss Americas. You're just a chicken. I'm not a chicken. No, you're a chicken. And I think they were planning on making chicken. She's peeling a potato when this entire photo shoot crew bursts into her apartment.
I thought she was peeling a potato, but then they talk about the chicken, so I thought that she was peeling a chicken. Then I was
no,
like,
the chicken was sitting there in like a little, like a foil pan. But Adrian, who went out for, I think, booze, because she was in the liquor store, came back with a chicken.
What about Adrian's obsession with... we're moving, baby. We're going to Berlin. We're out of here. We're not even going to be here. They're not.
She's got bigger high hopes. Yes. Yeah. She's got big dreams.
They love her in Berlin. She's going to move there with her rhythm box and her girlfriend, Margaret. And that's when life is really going to start. But right now, Margaret is, I guess, finding her new power. That's A.
Her new alien power?
Yeah, her new alien power.
Yes. I mean, is this movie about people using Margaret? Like, because Adrian,
they do.
I don't know what Adrian does for a living, but I doubt she beatboxes or whatever she's doing in that. I don't think she makes...
She's a drug dealer. That's her living.
Oh, yeah, that is her living. Okay, no, that makes sense. But she says they love her in Berlin?
Yeah, they do.
Like her drugs, not her music, right?
No, I think she thinks her music. That's the thing. When they go to Berlin, it's her rhythm box that's taken off.
Right. Okay. Let's sort of talk about the climax, no pun intended, of this movie.
Okay.
After there is a chicken competition in which the chicken competition is just them calling each other chicken.
Chicken, yeah.
Because it appears as though the people... The photographer and the rest of this crew, which I love the crew, is like 3 guys that just run around with lights. And then a guy that's just there to cut cocaine. Like, they all appear to want these 2 characters played by the same actress, Jimmy and Margaret, to have sex on camera. Mm-hmm. And that will be like the greatest thing the fashion world, I guess, has ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's when Margaret turns the tables on Jimmy. Because Jimmy's making fun of her.
Oh, yeah.
How she's old and she's ugly and nobody wants to see her. And Margaret starts like, Jimmy, you're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you're the most handsome man I've ever seen. And Jimmy does not know how to handle this.
He doesn't. He doesn't know how. He gets very awkward too then when they want.
He gets very awkward. And that's when I thought the reveal that he was a lady was going to happen.
Or that he was Margaret. Thought he was going to look at her and be like, or that they were siblings. Because although
Jamie, any of those things we just said would be a better ending than what happened in this movie. Like, I would love it if it was just a trippy thing where he was like, "But we're the same person. I'm you, you're me," and whatever. And then it just devolves into computer graphics nonsense, roll credits. I would be totally into that. Instead, Margaret undoes his pants.
Yeah.
Now, by this time, she's realized that if she can get...
Because this is when she realizes she has this power, and now she's going to use it. Right. After they've made fun of her and tormented her, she's like, well, F this. I know I can kill this. I could kill my arch nemesis or whatever just by getting him off. So that's what I'm going to do. And he's like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't want to do it.
He is very reluctant to do this. And I don't really know why, because he seems like a big scuzzball. Like, he seems like every other creep in this movie. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why suddenly he doesn't want to have sex with her in a room with a bunch of people standing around.
He's just not, he's very hesitant about it. But
Right.
she makes it happen, like you said, unzips the pants,
Yep.
and then he just disappears.
Also, there's a weird montage of baby pictures and young pictures of this actress
Oh, yes.
that just come up for a very long time for no reason.
Well, because again, this photo shoot is oddly to like an interview too.
Right.
They want to know more about Margaret and where she's from,
Yeah.
and da. And so we get a flash of some pictures of
Yeah. So
pre-Margaret.
So Margaret gives her male counterpart a blowjob, and then he disappears. To which all these people watching this, their reaction is great, because one woman goes, "Where did he go? Let's go check outside." I'm like, you all just saw him disintegrate into nothing. And then Margaret's roommate / girlfriend, I still don't exactly know what their relationship is. I guess
I think
they're
it's
lovers,
Ruby Girl.
right?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, Margaret now announces that what she can do. She can kill with her cunt. That's what she's like, this is what I do now, guys. I'm just saying. This is who I am. I think Adrian's like, fuck that. That's not true. You're not going to kill me. We're going to do it right now, and you're going to see they're not even. And she tells the other guys, hold her down. She likes it when you do that. You guys got to hold her down. And the film crew does. The crew comes and they hold her down, and then what do you know?
It's the third rape of the movie, and Adrian,
Dead.
my favorite
Gone.
character, those giant teeth of hers are just gone.
She just disappears.
Right.
And she's like, and meanwhile Margaret's like, y'all see? Cunt killer.
Yep.
Don't get me started.
Dress me up nice. Let's put on some makeup and a black light, and let's go to the club.
Yes, exactly. Now she wants to go to the club and find more, because she's been, all these dudes come and they handle her wrong and they talk nasty to her and they get the drugs and they're just not nice individuals. So now she's going to use this power and she's just going to kill them.
Yeah, and Jamie, you said all of that so quickly, which if anybody hasn't seen this movie, you would think, oh, that's the crux of this movie, which is she is now going to exact vengeance upon these horrible men. You explained that in the exact amount of time it takes place in this movie. Like, at this point, there's about 10 minutes left in this movie. I really, when that happened, I was like, why isn't this the movie? Why are we spending time with Paul? Why are we spending time with this German guy? Like, why didn't this happen an hour and a half sooner?
True. Why couldn't we see more revenge?
Yes.
Why couldn't we see more disappearing bodies? Why couldn't we see her have more power than not?
Yes.
Because the beginning is really sad with the way she is treated, and by the time she gets...
Yeah, if you want to do a movie like this, yes, it could be sad. Like, it could be, I don't know, an exploitation film. If you want to say this could be I Spit on Your Grave and we watch this girl get raped like 5 times in a day, fine, but just have that be like the first half hour, and then the rest of the film is her exacting her
comeback,
her vengeance on these people.
Yeah.
But that's not what this movie is. This movie is pain and suffering, but almost like dulled senses through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then in the end, when she's like, I'm the most powerful person in the world, you look at your watch and you're like, well, 3 minutes, credits are going to roll. I don't know what you're going to do with this. But we do see what she does, which is she actually gets to murder somebody. Like,
yes.
I don't really think she wanted to kill Adrian. I like to think that she didn't mean to.
Well, she kept telling Adrian, no, stop it.
Yeah, but
Don't
she
do it.
finds the guy, and I think, is it the same guy that raped her with the Quaaludes earlier?
He looked very familiar. Same actor, maybe.
Same actor, different role? That wouldn't surprise me. So she picks this dude up at this club, and then she kills him, same way as everybody else.
And although he tells her, like, he's like, whoa, this is all moving a little fast. And she, like, isn't this, because she literally is like, hi, nice to meet you. Come back to my place. Let's go do it.
I was like, didn't you rape her the other evening? This is moving too fast for you.
No, he was, it's not the same guy, because Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But he's like, because now she wants to, it's like she's got her fix and she's got to get it on.
Oh my God. I am sorry. I'm changing my recommendation right now. I changed my recommendation for this movie 4 times, I have to say.
Oh, I'm a big circle of recommendation, and I think I'm just going to go full circle with recommendation.
Okay.
And
all right. That's all. All right. I just changed it because this is the movie that I wanted this to be, but it's not. Okay, go ahead.
Aw, I can't wait to hear.
For a while, I wasn't sure if this movie was supposed to be a futuristic movie, but at every turn, I was like, no, this is 1982. Like, this is... Yeah. It's like 1982 threw up in my eyes, and this is what happened.
Threw up. Had the shits all over me.
Right. All right, should we talk about what happens at the end of this movie?
That's what I was looking at. The end when she goes...
Well...
Doesn't she call the... She calls the alien an Indian, doesn't she?
And had she not said it 30 times, I would have just thought she said alien. But I kept going... Who's an Indian? Who's she talking about? Who's she talking to?
She goes, because now she's connected to this. Before, I don't even think she noticed that neither one of them did, that there was a spaceship on there.
They don't go outside on the roof a whole lot, I guess.
But once she realized that this is what was giving her the power, now I guess she's into it, right? She does this weird dance. What was that dance?
Where it's like all choppy. Like, you see the dance from her point of view, and she's like, yeah, I'm dancing. And then you see it from the other girl's point of view, and she is just...
like strobe light dancing.
Yeah, it's weird cut film, and it looks very scary.
Yeah.
So,
but she's doing that basically for the alien ship.
Well, first, after she kills this guy, across the street, the German scientist sees this guy dissolve in her apartment. And he decides to go over. And this was another weird part of the movie. He just finished telling Jimmy's mom what's going on with this alien. Like, he dropped so much exposition about orgasms and heroin and these aliens. And he goes into Margaret's apartment and says the same stuff again, and we have to watch it. Like, we have to listen to this explanation
in case you didn't
time.
know.
Yes.
Right.
She stabs him. Margaret stabs him in the back with a knife. But also, Jimmy's mom meets up with Paul's girlfriend.
Oh, that's right.
Because that girl's looking for Paul, and they go up to Margaret's apartment when she's doing that crazy dance.
And they see it. That's right.
Right.
They watch her. And did they tell her you're a great dancer?
What?
What? They did.
I hope so. But you're right in that Margaret keeps saying, Indian, Indian, take me with you, Indian, to an alien spacecraft.
Yeah. And remember, according to the scientists, the aliens are very tiny.
They're very tiny, yes.
They're not big, like people think.
But she is then dissolved. Like, she doesn't appear to die like everybody else does.
No.
She doesn't turn into a weird silvery puddle. She just disappears, and then this alien spaceship takes off.
She stares at the spaceship, and it kind of takes her in, and then it takes off.
Right. And that's exactly how this movie ends. We don't get closure with the women that we're watching her disappear. It is alien spaceship takeoff, cut to credits over the New York skyline.
They were looking for the wasp from Connecticut.
I don't even, Jamie, should we give final decisions? I mean, we always should,
I don't know.
That's what we do.
I mean, we should, but I don't really know how this movie made me feel. I will say, after I sat with it, I watched it last night, and after I sat with it, I thought maybe, like you said, maybe there's more I should take from this movie. Maybe it did leave a bigger impact, and maybe it was just that it was so much all at once that my mind can't handle the message the way it was being conveyed. And if I watched it again, or if I watched it under some sort of influence, it would be this like magical click to me. But when I initially finished it, it was like it was like seeing your grandmother naked or something. It was like, oh God, I don't want to. What was that? I don't want to see that. I'm not supposed to see those kinds of things. That's not for me. But I don't know if that's really how I feel. So I don't know how I feel. I don't know how Liquid Sky made me feel. I really don't. It made me uncomfortable. But I
am on board 100% with what you said. Like, I am the same way. The only thing that makes me feel as though I don't think I would like it if I watched it again is how easily it all just disappeared. Like, this was nothing. When it was over, I didn't think about it. Like, it was as though I had not watched anything. Like, it didn't stay with me.
Yeah.
Like I said, the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
I can do this. Let's just see what happens. But really, about a half hour in, I went, all right, I know what's happening. Like, let's stop. I don't need to keep watching this.
I don't want anymore. I'm done. I get the message. Well, I think it was a little too long. I think you had mentioned earlier that if it was a shorter movie, maybe then I could really kind of get around it. Or if like you said, she realized what her power was and we saw her sort of claiming that power for more than the last 10 minutes of that movie, maybe then.
I think it's one of those movies where I can now say, I'm glad I watched Liquid Sky.
But I'm not a Liquid Sky person.
No, I'm not a Liquid Sky person. And this is also, like, I feel like had I seen this 20 years ago, I would probably be like, this is amazing. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But I feel like in a weird way, like it's not a film that seems meditative. Like it's not a film that seems as heady as other movies. Like,
but maybe at the time,
right.
At a different time, you would think so. Yeah,
or maybe
I hear you.
Maybe I'm just desensitized to it. Like it didn't have that crazy, insane impact that it was supposed to on me.
So, what do you recommend? Because I got to tell you, I got not much of nothing. I'm all over the place at recommendations. I got nothing steady. One is I recommend watching this again. One would be. I mean, one of my favorite drug movies, but I haven't seen it in a long time, is Basketball Diaries, but I haven't seen it for a long time, so I don't know that I would recommend that.
My favorite part of Basketball Diaries is when they're about to play a game, and they're like, I don't know what are the uppers or downers. And DiCaprio goes, I don't know, I'm just going to take the black ones. And my thought is, those are downers, dude. Like, you do not want to take those before a basketball game. Like, just the color alone should tip you off.
Should indicate something, yes.
My choice is, and I didn't do research now because I just switched my choice, is the movie Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson.
Ooh.
It was from 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay.
It's a movie where Scarlett Johansson is an alien and she comes down to Earth. And her whole purpose is to seduce men and to bring them into this, like, pool of black liquid where they're dissolved. It is.
Ooh, this is very much this.
Right, exactly.
But
it's
better.
A great movie. And the movie is also sort of about, like, empathy because at one point in the movie she meets somebody and as an alien sort of feels bad and doesn't want to kill this person. It's a great movie. It was a movie that when I first saw it, I was so into it. It was saying so much about how women are objectified and how sort of terrible men are, and it ends in such a sad way. But it's a fantastic movie. So if people haven't seen Under the Skin, they should check it out.
See that instead of Liquid Sky.
Yeah, watch that instead of Liquid Sky. Yeah. It seems to be directed better, written better.
Well, this was written by, like, the actress wrote it, too.
Right, she got
or was one of the writers,
I don't know what to say about that.
Well, I mean, we experienced it. It was an experience.
So, Jamie, before we talk about what movie we're watching 2 weeks from now, we should talk about our 3rd anniversary film. And what we did was we reached out to people on social media, and we said, hey, give us a bunch of movies that we haven't seen, which is a weird thing to ask people that don't know us. Like, suggest movies we haven't seen.
Because what do they know? Right. Of what we've seen.
I got a bunch of responses. I sifted out all the stuff that I hadn't seen, and I left the rest in.
Okay.
So if we pick something that you'd seen, let me know, and we'll pick again.
Okay.
But my thought is to do this. We'll choose 3 and then put them up for a listener vote, and then go with what everybody chooses. So just like we did last time with the Halloween episode, you're going to pick numbers. I have numbers 1 through 28 here.
All right.
And you're going to pick 3 of these. Now, we have a documentary on here. We have a children's film. We have a sequel to a movie that we've already discussed.
Yum.
So, anything. 1 through 28, your choice.
All right. Let's do 4.
All right.
Let's do...
mark that or something.
13, and let's do... You said 4 to 27? Am I picking 3 different numbers?
4 through 28. Sorry, what'd you say? 4, 13.
And let's do 26.
Wow. Okay. All right. So here's what we have. Number 4 is the movie How I Got Into College, which I had never heard of before.
I don't know it either. Okay.
13 is a horror movie, a slasher movie called Pieces. And 26, I believe, is a skateboarding movie called Thrashin'.
Oh.
So we will be doing one of those 3 movies. Go on to Twitter. I'll put a poll up there for our 3rd anniversary of this podcast. So you guys pick, we'll do it.
All right. That's how we work it.
So, Jamie, listen, we just watched a movie that had to do with aliens. And I know how you feel about aliens and science fiction. I know you're not a big fan. So I don't know if you're happy about the fact that our next movie it has to do with aliens.
What is it?
But what if it wasn't just an alien? What if your stepmother was an alien? First of all, imagine you have a stepmother. Okay. And that she's Kim Basinger, and that she's an alien.
Well.
Are you into that?
I'm gonna have to see. I've never watched this movie.
Also, your dad is Dan Aykroyd. Does that help things?
That could help, but I don't know.
I mean, it could be like if it was 80s Dan Aykroyd, sure.
Well, if it is, obviously.
If it's Dan Aykroyd now, I don't know if I want him as my
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not so sure.
All right, so we are going to be celebrating Mother's Day with My Stepmother's an Alien, and that'll be in 2 weeks.
All right.
So
there you have it.
This has been a
alien heavy
competition or conversation,
and confusing conversation or confusing, yes,
or competition. Either one. I mean,
either one.
Yeah, we really competed to see who understood this movie more. And we both lost. All right, everybody, we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Watch My Stepmother's an Alien. Go on to Twitter. Vote on the movie that you want us to watch after that.
That's right, for the anniversary.
And that's it.
That's all.
Just like Joey Lawrence dreams, everybody.
Sweet Joey Lawrence dreams, because you know what? He's not a bad guy.
No, he's actually pretty cool. All right, that's it. I'll talk to everybody later.
Hey now. Good night. Or not. Bye.
Good night or not.
nothing. You're nobody. You're nothing. You're nothing.
People might not know, Jamie. I think people know that you and I knew each other in college, but they might not know that we lived together at one point.
That's true. We did.
My senior year, your junior year. We lived in a house.
That's correct.
With we lived with Abby, who was on our Lost Boys episode.
She was.
And we lived with Mike and Clint as well. So we had a bit of a 420 get-together. It was a party, I would say. I think it was probably about 20 years ago, to be honest.
Oh, gosh, don't put years on it like that. But yes.
So I think that day our house was sort of open to people, and people were coming and going, and you know, it was a good time. And, of course, it was 420, so, you know, maybe we had a few tall glasses of water in us. Who knows what was going on?
Tall glasses of water.
And knowing us at the time and friends that we hung out with, who else knows what might have been coursing through our bodies at the time. But at one point in the evening, I was sitting on the couch. I still remember this, probably because I've told this story to several people. And there were a lot of people hanging out, and I wasn't really talking to anyone at the time. I was just sort of trapped in my own head.
As one would be when they have lots of water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And out of my mouth, out loud, I said the words, you know what? Joey Lawrence is pretty cool.
That's right.
And immediately I realized what I had said, so I looked around the room, and nobody seemed to notice, like nobody seemed to hear me. And then what did I see? I saw my podcasting partner sitting on the love seat, grinning ear to ear and frantically scribbling what I had said onto the side of a tissue box so that would never be forgotten. And to this day, listeners, a couple times a year, I still get a text message of a Joey Lawrence meme or something